All right, I got to the warehouse now and I immediately had a feeling to make this video I'm making right now. You know, you can pretty much relate to that feeling. Something gets laid in your mind and you feel like, get it out as soon as possible. It's exactly how I felt, and I said to myself, even though I am already late because it's right now about 10 o'clock, I came in a little bit late today. It was, intentional. I wanted to take it like cool today, but I felt like there's somebody that needs to hear what I am about to say, because on Saturday, today is Monday, just to put it in context, on Saturday I was at the Flohmarkt. We call it Flohmarkt here in Germany. In America, I think it's called flea market. Garage says something along that line, but in Germany here, when people gather in a particular location to sell their goods, it's called Flohmarkt here. I was there. I wasn't there for a very long time. But on Saturday, I felt like, why not go back to where it all began? And so exactly what I did. Weather was beautiful, so there was no issue like it was going to rain. I took the car, drove all the way to the Flohmarkt that was closest to me. They're about 10 kilometers one way, but I kind of enjoyed the journey. It wasn't anything for me because, first of all, I wasn't in a hurry. And I wasn't really intending to buy anything. I just wanted to see the state of things. Like I said, I haven't been in the Flohmarkt for a very long time. I was just dying to see the state of things. As at Saturday, the 19th of May 2025, I was wanting to see if people actually still do come to the Flohmarkt, to buy things, to sell things. I didn't do it for so long, but that was exactly where I started. When I started selling, on eBay a very long time ago, this was my major source of getting items to sell. I would wake up early in the morning, go to the Flohmarkt, try to pick up stuff, buy things I could lay my hands on, some working, some weren't working, sometimes monitors, computers, laptops, phones. Then I will bring them home, to clean them up and ultimately resell them on eBay. It was so difficult at the time because I didn't have a car. I didn't even know what I was doing. You see, the fact I didn't have a car wasn't the biggest problem. This is something that a lot of you tend to think is the biggest problem. I didn't have a car. That was a problem in itself. But fast forward to today, I now understand that, look, the fact I didn't have a car was a little problem. The major problem was that I didn't know what I was doing. And because I didn't know what I was doing, I was going there to pick up all manner of items. Some working, some weren't working. And sometimes I was buying these items only on the strength of what the seller has told me. The seller says the item is in good working condition. I look at it and the seller tells me, yes, it's working properly. I buy it, bring it home, try to plug it, only to realize that the item doesn't work. But that's not where I am driving at. So I did go to the Flohmarkt as usual. There were a lot of people there, people buying clothing, people buying shoes, there were all manner of stuff, household utensils, building equipment. I was actually impressed that many years later, this market hasn't changed. They are still the same people bringing the same goods, selling. Sometimes you get to find very good items. There are a lot of games, DVDs, books, all manner of stuff, laptops, desktop PCs, phones, Walkman, cameras, just name it. Everything was pretty much there. I began to think to myself, this is amazing. One would have expected that in 2025 it's no longer possible to actually, get a place to buy stuff and resell it. Look, if you know what you are doing, understand what I'm saying, know what you are doing, because it's not as easy as just waking up, going to a Flohmarkt, buy some bunch of stuff and try to resell them. But if you are determined, to get things rolling, there is definitely a starting point for you. There's definitely a place where you can actually go right now, buy stuff for the intention of reselling them. You see, people complain. I see people complain sometimes, how do I get to start this business? And they are just waiting, chilling, waiting for like a template that will be handed over to you of where to go, the items to buy and where to sell them, how much profit to make, how to list them. If that's the mindset that you will have to wait for a very, very long time. But if you are saying to yourself, I have been looking at videos for some time, I feel like I want to take action, but I do not know exactly where to start out. The Flohmarkt is a very responsible place where you can actually go right now and get a lot of stuff. Like I said, I did lay my hands on laptops. I was able to find some, desktop computers, even though I wasn't buying them. That's a different conversation altogether. But if you are right there right now, you are saying to yourself, I've got 20 euros, I've got $20. I just want to go somewhere and pick up some few stuffs. It could be clothing, it could be shoes, it could be books, It could be some, repair equipment like screwdrivers, pliers, stuff like that. I even saw somebody selling a bunch of glasses, like sunglasses. I saw a stand where the only thing that the seller had were just ties. And each time I had the opportunity of meeting a seller that sells the item, a potential item that I would have been interested in, which is electronics, one question I was always asking is that, do you come here every Saturday? And most of them said, no, they are not regular visitors to this floor mat. Sometimes they are here, sometimes they are not there. I was actually looking for somebody that says to me, yes, every Saturday I'm always here, and every Saturday I tend to bring, different kind of items. For such people, I could then go ahead and say, you know what, I think I want to have your contact. We can actually be business partners. But unfortunately, everybody I actually talked to said they are not constant visitors to this market. So if you are right now still overthinking the process, you are still sitting down, not taking action because you do not know where to go, you don't know how to start shopping. You hear people talking about retail arbitrage, you hear people talking about, writing suppliers, trying to pitch them on how you can sell their product. You feel like it's a whole lot of work. You don't just know how to start. I'm telling you today, if all you have is just $20, you can actually go to the nearest floor mat and try to buy something that you can actually resell. See, you don't have to overthink this process, because the more you are thinking this process, the more you are definitely not going to take action. And the problem is, if you do not take action, you will not be in any way better. You need to take action for you to gradually begin to learn the things that sell, to learn how to even go out and buy stuff, learn the kind of things that you expect to find, and even learn how to list items on a platform like eBay. All right. If you do not take action, you are definitely not going to, bypass those processes. There is a learning curve to, starting to resell on eBay. It doesn't just happen that you wake up and you become an expert. You watch all the videos on YouTube if you like. You are still not going to become a better seller if you will not actually, put in the work. So I found a lot of stuff, and I felt like there is no reason for somebody to continue to complain that there are no items left. Things have become very expensive. If you go out, you are definitely going to still see people that are willing to drop prices on an item that you are looking for. All right. So I felt like this was something I needed to tell somebody out there to motivate somebody to actually take action, because the problem I see a bunch of people that want to make money online, want to begin to count, make $10,000 a month, 10,000 euros a month, but nobody want to take action. Nobody want to put in the work just because of one reason or the other. For me, I didn't have a car. Perhaps for you, you are in the same situation right now. You do not have a car, and you are trying to tell yourself that you not having a car is the reason why you have not taken action. I'm here to tell you today that when I started, I didn't have a car, and the floor market at the time was quite a distance from where I actually lived, and I had to take the train, I had to take the bus, and also needed to walk, I think about 500 or 700 meters to be able to get to the floor market. And in all this, I put in the work. And mistakes, guys, I made a lot of mistakes. I made pretty much every mistake in the book, and gradually I kept refining things, kept discovering things, kept learning from my mistakes, kept embracing mistakes as my best friend. And fast forward to today, I can pretty much tell you that I have seen it all. All right. I'm giving you a little bit of motivation today to tell you that, look, if you are still sitting there, nobody's coming to help you. Nobody's coming to save you. No one video is coming to hand you over the handout that you need to become successful. You have to be seen doing the work. Visit the nearest floor mat, visit the nearest Goodwill for those of you that live in America. But for those of us in Germany, the floor marks are pretty much once a week, say Saturday, say Sundays. But there are some cities where you actually have people, organizing floor marks on a Wednesday. Is it going to be easy? Definitely not. It's going to take a lot of effort from you, a lot of time. But if you say to yourself, yes, Hardwareflipper, a content creator which I admire, actually did start like this, I think I want to start putting in the work. And I can tell you for free that a floor mat is where you can actually go and start getting your feet wet. Yes, if you are thinking of selling electronics, I'm going to be upfront with you. You might be finding some electronics that are not going to be in the best working conditions. A lot of them are going to be defective items. But then if you pick up these items, you do not necessarily have to sell an item that is in very good working condition to make money on eBay. Guys, let me shock you. You can actually buy an item like a monitor, a laptop, and pull it all apart and sell the keyboards on eBay. eBay is pretty much known for, people coming to sell all manner of items, some working, some defective, some items for parts. And sometimes there might be somebody somewhere looking for a particular laptop keyboard and the person has looked all over, couldn't find it. You are just that person that has listed an offer. Person is going to buy it. You see, I've had here on this channel so many times my PCs are returned to me and they are, destroyed during transportation. I don't tend to worry about it because I know that ultimately, whatever part is in this PC, I can still go ahead to sell them. I can go ahead to sell the DVD drive, to sell the main board, to sell the RAM sticks, to sell the SSDs. Even though the housing is destroyed, the parts, the individual parts on this PC are pretty much what I can still sell and make a lot of money off. So don't be discouraged if the items you are seeing, they are not in good working conditions. You only have to, take a look at the items, see on eBay, put in the work to check what kind of parts people are selling. If it's an Apple product, good enough. There might be a PC that you are buying. You can pretty much get, some of these defective PCs or laptops for like 5 or 10 euros. You bring them home, you clean them up, you take out the keyboard, take out the RAM sticks, take out the SSDs or the hard drive as the case may be. You can also go ahead and sell these things and still recoup your money. But the thing is, you might even make losses. But the beautiful thing is that you need to be in this process. This process, there's just no way you can circumvent it. You need to make these mistakes. You need to make these losses to become a better person. And this took me years to realize because in the beginning, I was always scared of making mistakes. I was always scared, of buying things that would not sell. I was scared of buying things that when I tried to sell them, nobody was willing to take them from me. I was even scared of people, returning my items to me. Only for, later on my journey, I realized that these things we call mistakes, these things we call losses, these things we call, oh, I bought an item for 10 euros, I listed it, only for me to realize that I didn't factor in the shipping cost. These mistakes are just meant to help you, to be a better person if you continue to put in the work. So I want to encourage you there. If you are still sitting there, you've been watching my videos all the while, you have not taken action. Even though you have a floor mark just by your house, you've not thought it wise to actually go there and visit, see how you can actually, buy things and sell stuff. I want to encourage you to begin to take the steps today that's necessary, put in the work, go out there, begin to discover things, begin to see the things that you can buy and sell, and begin to test the waters of eBay. You never can tell where it might, lead you to. If this video has spoken to you in the littlest way, I want to encourage you, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click on the like button, write me a comment. I enjoy reading these comments and I will definitely, get back to you. Until I see you again in the next one. Peace.